What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? This is gonna be your review for the it ain't Real Housewives, nothing. It's RuPaul's Drag Race, season 12, episodes 5, 6. What we on? Episode 5 or 6? So episode 5. So y'all know we always start off with the at the end. So we have where Rock'em Sock'em was eliminated, and everybody feels the same way. Everybody feels like it should have been Aydin at the bottom. Nobody feels like Rock'em should have gone home. Everybody felt bad because they could hear him crying and they knew how emotional he was. So everybody's having that moment. Now, Britta just came right out and said what everybody was thinking. Britta want to know why she was in the bottom, but the person, but Aydin wasn't, and she was just going and letting it be known that she had a problem with the whole situation. And of course, Aydin was like, "Oh well, you think I should have been in the bottom, but I wasn't." So and there, and from a competition point of view, I can't be mad at Aydin, but I don't disagree. I mean, I said that last week, so I don't need to be belaboring that point. But Miss Britta, I'm gonna need you to stop worrying so much about where other people are, what other people are doing, and be more concerned about what you got going on. She seems to feel like she shouldn't be at the bottom. She was like, I was missed this and I was missed and I did this and I did that. You haven't done anything more than anybody else. Everybody there deserves to be there. Everybody there has done something that got Rue's producers, because it ain't Rue. Rue ain't picking none of these people. But Rue's producers eye. So it is what it is. So we start off, we're in the workroom, and there really wasn't a mini challenge this episode. It was more they were letting them know what the main challenge was going to be. The main challenge is, one of these actors, they're doing a parody of Grey's Anatomy with Gay's Anatomy. And so what happened was they each got a pill bottle, and the two red pills in the bottom were who was going to pick the parts. So it ended up being Gigi and Nikki Doll. Now I personally feel like Gigi should have I feel like since she won the challenge last week, I feel like she should have been one of the people picking anyway. So I'm glad it worked out that way, because she should have been. So it ended up being Nikki Doll. So I appreciate what they did. They let everybody read over the parts, and they let everybody tell them what part they wanted. And if there really was no competition over a part, you pretty much got that part. If you wanted a part that nobody else wanted, it was like, okay. Then they sat down and they went off to the side and they sort of sat down and figured out what part was to go to what. Now I thought it was interesting that Widow and Sherry both wanted a particular part. It was like the mother part. And it was funny because Widow was kind of in her feelings because she ended up not getting it. They gave it to Sherry. But she was sort of in her feelings because she was like, I wanted to play something a little different, something out of my wheelhouse. And then she had nerve to say she wanted something serious. Ain't no serious roles. And RuPaul even said that. She like, you want a serious role on RuPaul's Drag Race. Like, there is no serious role on RuPaul's Drag Race. Like, it's all camp, it's all parody, it's all overacting, it's all exaggerated facing and all of that. So, but what I think she wanted to say was she didn't want to play stereotype. But what I found interesting, because that ain't what she said, so I'm putting words in her mouth. But what I found interesting was you wanted to play a mother. That would have been, I think you were saying you didn't want something easy, but I think you wanted something easy. But then when the part she got, which she did a good job with, she did a good job with her role, but she gave me stereotype. So I'm really not sure what you wanted, Widow, because it's not even like you took that role and you did something different with it. You put on a cornrow wig, you played, you know what I mean? So I was a little confused. Anyway, let me rewind. I'm getting ahead of myself. So the part Aydin wanted, she didn't get either. She was kind of upset by it. He was kind of upset by it, and he was like, well, they were like, and then this what makes me mad. So Gigi didn't give him the role he wanted, and then you gonna say, are you okay with that? What he supposed to say? He was like, well, I'm gonna have to be, right? Exactly. Like, you gonna have to be. Unless the producers told you to ask that. That was a dumbass question. And then they did the same thing to Widow, which is kind of why I think the producers told them to ask it. But then you turn around and you did the same thing to Widow. It was like, well, Widow, are you okay with that? What's she supposed to say? Like, they told you the part they wanted. You didn't give them the part they wanted. What is it what are they supposed to do with that? Anyway, so So anyway, they got to doing their parts, and Rue came and walked through the workroom a little bit, and it was, I don't think it was anything deep. It was no deep revelations that I could think of off the top of my head. I ain't write no notes, so it must not have been nothing too deep that went down in the workroom, other than that part where Widow was saying she wanted to play a serious role, and Rue was like, she did kind of tell Aydin, get out. I keep saying she, y'all. I'm sorry. He did kind of tell Aydin, get out your head. It's no disrespect. Anybody watching this, the misgendering is no disrespect. It's no disrespect. He told Aydin, get out your head, because Aydin want to keep making up these excuses. Well, I don't live in a major drag area, and I don't have a drag family, and I don't have this, and I don't have that, and I'm just kind of here by myself. And Rue was like, well, look, at the end of the day, it's a competition. Everybody here is on the same playing field. Like, you're here for a reason. You can't use that as an excuse. You can't keep leaning into, oh, well, I don't have this and I don't have that, because everybody came in here with the same advantages and disadvantages. And this is a unique experience for everybody, no matter how big of a background they came from. This is all new for everybody. There's nothing that any of these people have dealt with before. And for that, I 100% agree with. So we get to the taping. Okay, so we get to the taping, and Carson is the director for this particular episode. And y'all know how they do. They show us the worst, they show us who's struggling. They show us what's going on. Oh, let me say this. Hold on. Let me go down the list. I did write down who got what, but I found it interesting that they didn't tell us everybody who got a part, which lets you know right there that the people they didn't mention probably weren't the people that were going to be the main issue. But anyway, so we had, oh Lord. Oh, here we go. We had Dr. Gay was Jackie. Dr. Gay 2 was Jan. Sandra Oker, I can't do the tongue roll thing. Britta. Penny was Aydin, who was like a ghost. And RuPaul was like, you think that was a little bit of shade that they made you a ghost? And I was just like, ooh. Dr. Mother Gay was Sherry. That's the part Widow wanted. Widow was Mimi. Nikki was Mimi's baby. And then Heidi and Crystal Meth, they were like conjoined entertainers, like a fork went through them, like put a fork in her. I guess that's what that was supposed to be. Jade played Shonda Dimes instead of Shonda Rhimes or Shonda. Let me make a confession right now. I have never seen an episode of Grey's Anatomy. I have never watched Grey's Anatomy. I don't know nothing about Grey's Anatomy. All I know is McDreamy used to be on Grey's Anatomy. Isaiah Washington used to be on there, and he made some homophobic statements to another boy that used to be on there, and ain't none of them on there no more. And that it's about doctors at a hospital in Seattle, Washington. That's all I got. That's it. I don't know nothing else about Grey's Anatomy. So, anyway. I wrote Planet of the Capes. My bad. That's the runway. Okay. We'll get to that in a second. So Jade was having some problems in the beginning. She got in her own head and she was messing up her lines a couple of times. But let me say this. Jade had some crazy lines. She had to say some weird stuff and it was like a play on sexual stuff. And it was a lot. I'm Jade. I was with you, girl. Nikki Doll was trying to do the whole parody thing. She was like, I need to show them my personality. So she painted her face real ugly, and she didn't really get the nuance of, I guess, the parody piece of it. So I think she felt like whenever she got stuck, she just threw French out there. And let me tell you something, Widow had the best comeback, because in the rehearsals, they don't show you everything. So when you see the final product, so when she kept throwing French out there, one time she threw some French out there because she was supposed to be Widow's baby, right? And looked like Widow was holding her. So she threw that French out there. Honey, Widow threw back at her. Widow said, Mama say, Mama sa, Mama kusa. And that was it. Like totally stole the scene. Totally did that. Then we had Aydin and Britta. Now, Britta has an issue. Britta spits when she talks. I'm trying to remember. there was somebody that I knew. I don't know if this was somebody in my personal life or this was somebody on TV who had an awareness that they spit when they talk. I don't know if it was another reality show I was looking at or if it was somebody in my personal life that knew, they were conscious of the fact that they spit when they talk. And so they were very conscious of it, and they would cover their mouth and they would do different things because they knew they did it. Britta, you have to know you spit when you talk. Yet, she ain't doing nothing to try to. So Aydin was saying how she kept getting distracted because she was spitting while she was talking the whole time. And Britta, of course, was like, I'm carrying Aydin because she's playing a ghost. And how hard is it to play a ghost? But let me tell you something. Y'all know I be giving Aydin a hard time. And I'm still going to give Aydin a hard time because I don't think Aydin need to be there. But I think Aydin did a decent job in this particular challenge. She took on a role. She played like a Mae West type parody. And she was over sexual. And I think she did a decent job. I still don't think she need to be there. But, and Widow is like me. I understand Widow. Widow, I don't know if you watch my reviews or not, but if you do, can you drop in my comment, are you a Cancer? Because I understand Widow. Widow was in her head. She got pissed off because she didn't get the role she wanted. She was a little moody. She was being a little bitchy. When Nikki came over to her and was like, well, let's try to figure out what it is that we're going to do. She was a little bitchy. She was a little in her head. But once she got over it and was like, fuck it, this is my role and I'm going to make it work, boo. All in. She was all in. And I'm that kind. I'm that way. When I get in my head, you just need to give me a minute. Like, I tell people all the time, when they getting to know me, I tell them all the time, just leave me alone. I'll be all right in a minute. I will get over it in a minute. But leave me alone. Don't try to talk to me. Don't try to make me laugh. Don't give me no hug. Just leave me alone. Just give me a minute. And then when I get over it, I'm over it. And then we can move on with life. So anyway, so I understand you, Widow. I got you, boo. So after they did their thing, you know, they're in the workroom getting ready, and you know we always have to have the deep workroom conversation. So this week, we learned a little bit more about people's home life. We started off talking about, I want to say, I don't remember who it was. I don't remember if it was Aydin or if it was Gigi. But either way, one of them was saying about their parents. They were talking about their parents. And so immediately, Jackie sort of face fell or whatever. And so she told her story, and she was saying, you know, as an immigrant coming to this country, you know, my family, you know, just like every other family, they want their child to become a doctor, become a lawyer. You know, they want to take advantage of this whole American dream. And she said, you know, my mom don't even know that I do drag. And I'm like, what is up with these people and their parents not knowing they do drag? I'm like, what does your mama think you do for a living? And I know that a lot of them are not full-time drag queens. Like, after the show, they pretty much become full-time drag queens because they you know, they catching these gigs. But I know for a lot of people, they weren't full-time before RuPaul. So, I mean, maybe he does have a 9-to-5, but I'm just like, what does your mama think you do? And have you had the conversation with your mama already? Like, I don't know. So they were talking, and so while they were talking, then Widow starts crying. Widow gets upset. So Heidi was like, Widow, what's wrong? What's going on? So come to find out, oh God, Widow, you broke my heart, baby. You broke my heart. Come to find out, Widow's mom died when she was 17 years old in a car accident. You know what I'm saying. And what made it worse, it wasn't so much that he lost his mom when he was 17. What made it worse was he said him and his mom had an argument and he left out the house. And that was the last conversation he had with his mother. That, I know, is something that you just never let go of. But, you know, they went over and they gave him a hug and they said all the right things and it was cool. And Jade actually broke the ice when she was like, all right, stop all this shit, bitches. Get on, you know, get it together. Let's get painted, you know, and broke the moment. But it was, you know, as the show goes on, you definitely have these moments where you get to know people and you get to understand why maybe they are the way they are. And Widow even went and said that she doesn't have a relationship with her family. Y'all know what I mean. She said she's married. They don't even know that. They don't know he's married. They don't know none of that stuff. So anyway. So the runway was Planet of the Capes. So everything was supposed to be cape oriented. Everything around a cape. So the first person that came out was Miss Jada. Let me tell you something, Jada. bitch, that bodysuit was everything. It was like a nude bodysuit with like red strategically placed like strips, and the cape was beautiful, and it was a good look. It was definitely a good look. Actually, Jade's was my favorite cape look. Nikki's was my favorite overall look. However, she didn't do a good job with the cape part of it. We'll get to that. But Jade was actually my overall look for the week. On the runway. Britta, she look, I'ma stop and she did a corset. Y'all know how I'm feeling about these corsets. Now, Michelle Visage didn't like the bottom because she had like a cutout back, like a cutout chap into a skirt kind of thing. So Michelle wasn't feeling the chap part of it, but I was like, ain't nobody gonna say nothing that this the third corset that Britta done wore. Ain't nobody gonna say nothing about that corset. Okay, all right then, we're gonna let that go. Okay, cool. Jackie did a whole play on her heritage. She did a belly dancer with a cape. It was nice. It was cute. I thought it was different. Jan, once again, thought outside the box. She didn't give us a regular cape. She did like a whole paratrooper type outfit, and the backpack turned into a cape instead of it being her parachute. It was a cape. Cute Jan, really cute. Gigi did like a Troop Beverly Hills type thing. She looked like a Girl Scout leader, a posh Girl Scout leader with the cape to the back of her uniform. Sherry Pie did a whole Elvis jumpsuit thing, like a very 1970s Hawaii Elvis. And let me say something to you, Jane, Miss Sherry Pie. See, this is the kind of shit that be offending people like me. Now, I ain't standing on no We Shall Overcome, pedestal. But what I am gonna say is this, ma'am, don't you never ever say that Elvis Presley is American. Like, well, there's nothing more American than Elvis Presley. Yes, the fuck there is. You talking about something American as Elvis. But I ain't gonna give you too much, Sherry. You had already been cut out the show. And they couldn't edit you out this week because you were in such a major part. But they've been trying their best, honey. There was a part in the workroom where you were talking, but they didn't even show your face. I said, oh, they are trying. They are trying it. Widow did I'm sorry, Heidi had a black pantsuit and wings that I thought was pretty. I'm gonna get to Heidi in a minute when we get to the judging. What I wrote? Who was this? Aydin was very plain. She had a black outfit with a black cape. Child. Y'all know I'll be saying it for Aydin. Oh, Crystal Meth. I wrote here her makeup was beautiful. And she had like this yellow and purple pantsuit with the cape. And I wrote that her makeup was beautiful, which it was. And the judges Michelle even remarked on that. And then Widow had like this pink bikini top with a peekaboo reveal, like a whole a la Janet Jackson with the tassels on the nipple thing. And she was saying she looked like a big old watermelon. I'm just gonna leave that alone. I'm just gonna let that one sit right there. I know Spiller Boy and Abby gonna tear her ass up over them damn black stockings again, so I'm gonna just let that one sit right there too. Anyway, so Ru did it a little different this week. She called everybody. She called all of them were the tops, and she went on and named who was at the top before and then she just spent the rest of the critique with just the bottom. She sent the tops to the back room. So the people on top were the person who won was Sherry Pie. So that's why I said they couldn't really edit her out. She won this week. So but they had to show why she won. And she won $5,000. Poor Sherry. She probably already spent that damn money. And they didn't took that money and donated it, honey. But anyway. But you know what I found interesting? Now, somebody was saying last time that she didn't get the money. They donated the money to the Trevor Project. But that's not what that says at the end. What it says at the end is, in light of current events or whatever, we have donated $5,000 to the Trevor Project. It didn't say that Sherry didn't get that money. I'm thinking Sherry got the money, but that they matched what they gave her. They matched it and they made a donation. That's what it looks like, but whatever. It's neither here nor there, child. At this point, it is what it is. So Sherry won. I think Widow was probably second. Widow did a good job. She did a really good job. Who else was back there? Aydin was in the top. Jan was in the top. I want to say Gigi and Jackie were both in the top, I think. I didn't write down the top, y'all. But the bottom, Jade was in the bottom. But Jade expected to be at the bottom because she flubbed her lines. I don't think Jade ever seriously was in any risk because her runway look was so strong. But the fact that she flubbed her lines and Carson said she was the hardest to direct, but she did eventually get it together. So I think, that was that. Heidi, I think, was in the bottom because I really think Heidi was in the bottom for her runway. Now, they tried to critique her performance, but I thought her performance was really good. They said that she was good, but she could have pushed it further. I think that situation was, I think Heidi was, in that situation, I think she was, a victim of being so good the first time that they were expecting so much more. But I think she did a great job. I think she's a victim of her runway. Heidi, unfortunately, is one of those queens that did not have a lot of money to pay for these $2,000, $3,000 costumes, and so she's bringing what she has, and she's doing the best she can. But I think sometimes that's because I love Heidi, and I think Heidi is great. And like they said a couple of weeks ago, Heidi has the talent, the makeup, the costumes that can be worked on. The talent, she's got it. And so I think that was kind of where Heidi fell short this week. Britta, I can honestly say I'm really not sure why Britta was in the bottom. Now, they didn't like her runway, but I don't think her performance was that bad. I really don't. I mean, do I think she deserved to be in the top? Not necessarily, but I don't really think she needed to be in the bottom either. And Britta was getting on my nerves this whole damn episode, but I'm just trying to be honest and call a spade a spade. Nikki was in the bottom. She deserved to be in the bottom. Crystal Meth was in the bottom. I don't think she deserved to be in the bottom either. Again, I don't think she was ever in danger of going home. So I might be missing some people, but I ain't missing the important people. So Ru did that bullshit that Ru does. I hate it when she says, "Who do you think should go home?" I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I hate when they have to throw each other under the bus. I hate it. But it's a competition. It's all about, reaction. So they do what they do. So what ended up happening was, Jade said Heidi, but she said because of her runway. A couple of other people said Heidi because of her runway. Then people started saying Nikki. It gets to Nikki. Nikki gonna say herself. Nikki. Don't you ever, never, ever say yourself. I don't give a damn if you was the worst thing on that stage. Don't you ever pick yourself to go home. Because let me tell you why. Because in Ru's mind, at that moment, you were going home. And Carson even turned to Ru and said to Ru, I think she's giving up. Or she's not fighting or something to that effect. You don't ever say me. I don't give a fuck. You find somebody else to throw under the bus. I don't care if you do think you were the worst thing out there. And what pissed me off was she said, well, because, I'm French and there's some things I just don't understand and I'm just struggling. See, I don't like that excuse shit. You knew you were French when you applied. You knew you had a language issue when you applied. Like, stop it. Stop it. Whatever. So Nikki and Heidi ended up having to lip sync for their life. Now let me tell y'all something. I knew for a couple of reasons that this was going to be no competition. Okay. One, because we already seen Heidi can dance her ass off. That's number one. Two, we've already seen that Nikki can't lip sync for her life. That shit was tired, delayed, and through, as my boy Giving All the Real Tea would say. And number three, Nikki had already given up. So I already knew Heidi was going to win. I hate that she had to lip sync for her life, but it never in my mind occurred to me that Heidi was going to lose. So they were lip syncing to a song I ain't never heard before. Heart to Bread, Breath, Bread, whatever by Kim. Somebody I ain't never heard of before. I don't think it was a great lip sync song because I think that Heidi was a little slow, kind of getting her groove. But baby, Heidi walked to the back of that stage, and when she came forward, she took over that stage. Do you understand what I'm telling you? She controlled that stage from left to right, back and forward. There was a point where Heidi was doing that little scoot thing that Naomi did, Naomi used to always do, and she was scooting to the point where Nikki had to get out of her way. When you force the person you are competing against to move out of the way for you, you have won. There was nothing Nikki could do. And I'm going to tell you what else I loved about what Heidi did. Heidi did not pull out her whole arsenal. She didn't do 5,000 death drops. She didn't try to do everything she could do. Because, again, we know Heidi can do all that. We know she can do a death drop. We know she can do crazy stuff. She did some splits and she did a couple of flips. But she kept it appropriate to the song. She didn't just try to go crazy and just be all over the damn stage like Chakra did. Chakra just was there, just do everything. And so I feel like Nikki, I feel like at that point, Nikki, and what's her name? Namandi. She was the guest judge. What's the girl name? Normandy? Normandi. The girl from, isn't that the girl from the Fifth Element, from the Fifth Dimension, the Fifth? See, I don't know these people. Anyway, she was the judge, and she even turned and said, she's fighting. And Heidi did that. But what I love is that Heidi didn't give them everything. Kind of like a Monet Exchange. Remember when Monet Exchange, every time she lip synced, she gave it a little bit more, gave you a little bit more, gave you a little bit more. So it was good. The only thing I'll bring up, and I'm done because I've been talking for almost 30 minutes, is Britta, boo. You are not to cast me out. I'm going to need you to go sit your ass down. You ain't the only one that has done great things. You are not the only one that has a resume and a pedigree coming into this competition. I don't give a fuck what you want. For whatever reason, you ain't doing it for the judges. So you need to figure it out and stop complaining and stop worrying about what other people are doing. Stop worrying about Aydin, because for whatever reason, they like Aydin. So Aydin is going to leave when Aydin is going to leave. So you just keep and you focus on yourself. Next week is Snatch Game. Y'all know that's always a hoop. So we'll see what goes on with that. Let me know what y'all think. Drop it in the comments. Peace.